What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Soccer Family Podcast. We're excited to be here after a very festive week of football. I feel like we're playing every 2 days, so there's a lot to talk about. I wanted the guys to introduce themselves. I'll start with the team, the guy that supports the team that beat a team today that has 1 point. Leighton, introduce yourself.
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Guys, we do what we have to do. You know, right now I think we're about.
It's an introduction, my friend.
Oh, sorry, this is M. What's up, everybody? Proud supporter of Manchester United.
No problem. And he's got his Jamaican flag back there. Great things that country has done for us. The guy with the fake smile and the Arsenal kit. Introduce yourself.
Yo, it's me, Figo. Everything's good. We finally scored a goal in open play. I'm glad to be here. Tonight. Glory to the Arsenal.
Glory to the Arsenal. There's a lot of glories going around without actual glories. You know that? And then we have a special guest today. He did his hair for us, and he's ready to take this one on. Me and him are always going back and forth on Facebook about why Liverpool's greatness is not great, even though it's great. That makes sense. TK, introduce yourself, brother.
TK, proud supporter of Liverpool, top of the table, champions, over here to rep.
There's an asterisk on that one, TK.
It was under COVID times. It was. But, undoubtedly the best team in Europe probably right now. So it's a pleasure to have you, TK. So we have a full agenda. So let's get going. So the biggest game of the week or the weekend was Liverpool, Tottenham. It was, two teams tied at, 26 points. So rather 25 points. So there's a lot on the line. TK, what were your thoughts on the pre-match of what Jose said, as well as the results of the game and what ensued?
You already know Jose Mourinho. He always has his tactics. He likes talking mad crap, trying to get into players' head and stuff. So I don't know. It was just to get us up our game, but we didn't really pay attention to it. We went on with the game. We did what we had to do. We played football. We showed the world how to play football, and then of course we knocked them. We beat them, and then now we're top of the table. So I think we silenced a lot of haters, and I'm really proud of how the team did.
Excellent, and I think there was a lot of. I could tell Klopp had a lot of passion when I've never seen that with that much passion so early in the season. So do you think Klopp is I know he's got a lot of interest, but do you think that he's feeling the pressure of having to be so consistent?
I think he is. I think he's dealing with a lot of injuries, so he has to figure out a lot of things, how to fit in players, who to bring into the team. As you could see, we've had to bring in a lot of youth players, such as Curtis. Nobody knew how good Curtis was until this year.
Hey, that guy's good, man.
Bro, every time he plays, I don't know if it's Bobby or Curtis. The kid is good, man. The kid is good. We had to bring in, what's his name, Williams, our center back, 6'5", looks like Van Dijk, sort of. And then we had to use our second right back, Nico, because Trent has been injured. So he's been stressed. I could tell he feels a lot of the pressure on him. But so far, we're doing good. Despite all the injuries, we're still top of the table. So,
TK, what are you guys talking about injuries? Have you seen the lineup that you guys have? So the same thing that Jose was complaining about, how you guys are all talking about how we're having these injuries. You guys, you talk about the replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who he actually did play. You're talking about the replacement for Firmino, who he actually did play. The only player that you guys actually have injured right now is Van Dijk. So when you bring up this injury excuse,
Matip is hurt. Gomez is hurt.
Okay, we have Matip and Gomez. Those are not as impactful as a Virgil van Dijk. We know that you guys have a big hole to fill there, but you guys still have the firepower of Salah and Mane and Firmino. Two of those three players actually scored a goal. So let's try to not over exaggerate when we're talking about injuries.
Had what's his name, Virgil Fabinho. in center back. Probably the second best center back in the league right now.
So Fabinho is a bad center back.
He's a good center back.
He's not a center back.
He's not a center back. He's a DM. But we've had to use him as center back. And against the Tottenham game, we had to play what's his name, Reece Williams with him. So Fabinho's basically, doing what Van Dijk does, but he's not a center back.
And with that, I have a question with that. Jose. So when I said Jose in his pregame kind of speech or talk that he did, he was saying basically Klopp was whining because kind of like what you're saying. He's saying he's got all these players that are in the starting lineup, but he's crying wolf about not having players. So do you agree with Jose? Is that what you're saying?
100%. I 100% agree with Jose. So for me, Jose Mourinho is not the kind of Jose Mourinho has there are two sides to his coin, because I'm a Man U fan, so I know the good Jose and I know the bad Jose. But in truth and in fact, he's not actually trying to take the blame away from the team. He's not trying to distract anybody or the media. It is an actual, like KG said, it's a fact. Like, you complain about Trent Alexander-Arnold. You complain about not having, who else? Salah getting COVID. You complain about Alisson being injured. You complain about Virgil van Dijk. But in truth and reality, the only player that you actually didn't play with against Tottenham, which I think they put up a good fight, it was a real good heavyweight bout, as one would call it. The number one team going up against the number two team. Jose Mourinho, he brought a lot of players out there, and I really was impressed with Højbjerg. I think KG is the one that mentioned Højbjerg at first, but he seems like the kind of player that is needed in every team to me. Like he's a dog that's willing to take that yellow card. He's the one that's willing to put his face on the line to disrupt that play. Not even to stop a goal, but to disrupt play. So I think everything worked out. It was a good transitional game from Tottenham, which we all know that's how they're going to play. So kudos to Jose for getting into the mind of Klopp, but it fell short at the end.
Ryan,
the argument would be.
So I know you're not the biggest. Go ahead, TK. You had a rebuttal.
The argument would be we've had Trent injured for a pretty long time. He basically came back last week and he played the Michelin game and he was not fit. He played against Fulham. He still was not fit, and he played this game, still not fully fit. We've had Fabinho come back from injury, long-term injury. He's still not 100% fit. And then we've had Mane's off form right now. Firmino has not been the normal Firmino, but he's back now. And then we've had Curtis, a 19-year-old. He had to step into midfield and do what he had to do. I don't know. Klopp just knows how to make players good, man. He makes everyone look good. And then also we've had Alisson out for a long time too, but then he comes in, steps in, does what he does.
So Ryan, I know you're not the biggest Jose fan, but you're a big fan of Logic, and so I call on you on behalf of the two biases that are going on here. So in the game, Liverpool had 17 shots, 11 on goal, 76% possession, 800 passes versus 254 passes. I'm sorry, I should have tied them together. 17 to 8 shots, 11 shots on goal to 2 shots on goal, 76% possession. You get the gist of what I'm saying. But at the end, Jose, he told us, what he told Klopp is basically that the better team lost. So what are your thoughts on who deserved that game?
I mean, pretty much you have a case of two different genres of music. You've got rock and roll, right? Rock and roll football versus country music or country western football. Okay. Klopp's style of football is exactly what the statistics say. You know what I'm saying? And Jose's style of football is exactly what the statistics say. And both managers throughout their career, and this season particularly, have been successful with their styles of football. So in Jose's mind, and based on the way he likes to play, his team did exactly what he wanted them to do. They played exactly how he wanted them to play. They had a particular situation where they hit the inside of the post and they had an opportunity to go up 2-1, and that is in Jose's mind. That was their opportunity to win the game. It did not happen, and Liverpool won the game on a set piece. In what was it within the last minutes of the game. So in Jose's mind, he believes that he, played a better game. So I don't think that he's being delusional. I think that's how he sets up his teams to play. Now, like you said the other day, we spoke in private. When you play counterattack football, you have to take advantage of all your opportunities, and Liverpool did not. Tottenham did not take advantage of their opportunities. When you play rock and roll football, you can miss more opportunities because you're creating more opportunities. And on that particular day, rock and roll ended up beating country music, So Jose was on top. Ended up on top that day. Sorry, Klopp. But, it's kind of an interesting that Jose was willing to give the Liverpool manager and the Liverpool players bulletin board material before such a big match. So before the match, he comes out, he talks about the manager directly, and I thought that was pretty interesting because in sports, you don't want to give the other team typically bulletin board material, which he did before the game. So now Klopp has something he can galvanize the troops with. It's already a big game, but now you talk trash about my manager, And Liverpool players were playing that game like it was a Champions League final. You know what I'm saying? So were Tottenham players. So you really can't. I think football missed Jose Mourinho. I'm not necessarily his biggest fan, but I'm glad he's back. And I like the rivalry that he's starting to try and start with Jurgen Klopp, similar to what he did with Pep Guardiola when he was at Real Madrid and he was at Barcelona. You got to go to war with those guys in order to beat them. That's what he said when he was at Real Madrid, and it seems like that's what he's trying to get his Tottenham players to do at Liverpool. So I enjoyed it.
Let's not get anything let's be honest here, guys. It was honestly probably the best game so far this season. I appreciate the way how, based on the coach's style of play, like you said, country music, rock and roll. The way how Mo Salah scored, it was an accident. You know what I mean? And then they ended up scoring in the 90th minute. Firmino ended up with the header in the 90th minute. So the way how they were playing, I was very, as a neutral fan's perspective, I was very entertained by the quality that was on the field.
No, I agree. I think it was you saw early on what Jose was trying to do. They were sitting back. So if you look at all of Tottenham games thus far in the season against top opposition, however you define top, right? It's they low block off as soon as the game starts. If it's 0-0 or 1-1 or 1-0, the second half they usually start strong, and then they phase away and try to go on counterattacks. Versus Klopp, which is just like Ryan said, just rock and roll. So it was a great chess match, if you will. One thing that I would like to ask you individually: who do you think is gonna come out on top at the end of the season? Is it gonna be? Because I agree with what Ryan is saying. Jose is doing that not only to get on Klopp's nerves, but also to get his guys to feel it a little bit more, and trying to create that winning mentality. Because if you watch the Amazon documentary that they have, he tells those guys that they're too soft. You know what I'm saying? He likes those guys. They're nice guys. So he's trying to get that out of them. So TK, who do you think will finish higher? Liverpool? It's a silly question for you, but Liverpool or Tottenham?
Think with your head, TK. Don't think with your heart. Think with your head, not with your heart.
Liverpool all day, every day.
All day. I agree. And who do you think is going to finish on top?
Honestly, I think Jose's tactics is not enough to finish above Liverpool. Honestly, he's a good kid.
He needs football too.
Yeah, the quality of players that Tottenham has, I don't think it's going to be enough to outlast the firepower, the the coaching, the determination that Liverpool has. So I'll give them the edge.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on that? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
So here's my thing, right?
Don't sleep on Tottenham. Don't sleep on Tottenham. Tottenham's nice, man. They're better than what I thought.
So here's my thing, though. It's going to be a long season. You got COVID-19. You have injuries. You have these games that are coming like back to back. No rest. And the difference you see with Klopp is out of nowhere, we're like, where did this kid come from? What was the kid's name we were talking about earlier?
Curtis.
Right.
Curtis Jones.
Right. So on one end, you have a manager who continuously, including Robertson and those guys. We didn't know who those guys were before, right? This is another version of that. You have a manager who is developing players out of nowhere at a time where that's important, right? The depth in squad is important. And on the flip side of that, you have another manager, Jose Mourinho, who is like, he has his group of guys, and that's it. Like Dele Alli, we know he's a great player, but he's not gonna. We already know how the story is gonna end there. Danny Rose, we know how the story is gonna end there, right? So like, Jose has his 11, maybe 12, and I don't know if that's gonna be enough to win the Premier League this year. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, it's got to be Klopp. You know, we can't count out Manchester City, but as long as we're just talking about Tottenham and Liverpool, I'm gonna say, of course, Liverpool, because just depth in the squad and the man's ability to utilize all his players rather than just 11 or 12. You know, so that's Liverpool.
I agree with that point. I think Liverpool are top of the league now with all the crises that they've had. So imagine when those guys start coming back, it's going to be tough. That's why we can't let those guys, as a Chelsea supporter, we can't let Liverpool get 9 games lead. The season's done, my friend. They don't look back. But moving on. Speaking of looking back, Chelsea kind of looked like what they were last year. No level of consistency. I call them frauds. But I digress. Em, I'll start with you, man. So two losses on the spin. They lost to Everton, and then 2 days later they lost to who did we lose to? To Wolves. Both away, but both winnable games. Do you think Chelsea are gonna contend this year for the league, or do you think they're not quite ready?
You know how life is funny. Life is so funny because a few weeks ago, the way how Chelsea fans were talking to me, they were telling me that they don't remember what it's like to lose. Like they don't know what that feeling is like anymore. You know, because they've been winning so many games, and you know, when you actually look at the table, they're one place behind Manchester United right now. The same Manchester United that's been getting criticized.
No, we're not. I think you won
hold
today.
on. You asked me to.
You won today. I think you're ahead of us.
Right. I'm 1 point ahead of you. So you guys tied with Krasnodar. I don't even know who that is. And then you guys lost to Everton, and then you guys also lost to Wolves. So it seems like the quality of players that Chelsea has right now, right? You guys have Pulisic, you guys have Timo Werner, you guys have Giroud if you want to play the crosses in. You have Tammy Abraham if you want youth and speed. You know, you guys have Mason Mount. You guys have all these quality players. But for some reason, you're having trouble dealing with teams that are in the top 10, right? So I don't know if John Terry is the man for the job right now.
Well, first of all, it's not John Terry. That's the first thing.
I keep calling him John Terry. Lampard. I don't think Lampard is the man for the job right now. And it feels like it's the same level of criticism that Ole would be getting. It's the same level of criticism. Well, Arteta is in a different basket. But the same level of criticism that players are up in the top are getting, the same level of pressure that Jose is expected to win all the time. Lamps is expected to win all the time. Ole is expected to win all the time. For us to get 2 losses on the bounce against a quality team that, yes, we know that they're good and they are in the top 10. And the Wolves, I think, finished 5th or 6th last season. They are good quality teams, but they didn't have what's his name? The striker that got knocked out with the concussion. Jimenez. They didn't have Raul Jimenez. So I feel like Chelsea should have capitalized on that. Even in the group chat, I told you guys, like, with this lineup that you guys had starting out, there was no way that you guys were supposed to lose that game. I was very elated when that happened. But I don't think that they're not ready. They're still in the same boat as Man U. Sad to say.
So the one thing I would like to, TK, you can answer this, is it fair to say that he's on the same stage or same level as Ole when last year he had no transfer budget versus Ole, who's signing center backs for 90 million, and they're not that. We see the results of who they signed. Is it the same playing field, or do you think they, the Chelsea needs to look beyond Lampard?
I'll say they need to look beyond Lampard because Lampard makes a lot of silly mistakes. He still has not found the balance of the team. Like, what's his name? Kai Havertz. Like, he's trying to force Kai Havertz in the field. Like, no one knows where Kai Havertz is playing. And then Mason Mount is good, but I don't think he's ready to be a starter of the team. So, those little small details of what he's doing, and they put Burn on the left wing. It's like, I don't understand what he's really thinking. So I think a decent manager with experience could get a lot more from these players.
Good point, Ryan. I think it's been 13 games with 250 million worth of players. So do you think, again, is what TK and Emmer says, is that a fair assessment? And also let's give the Wolves credit. How good is Neto?
So here's the thing: like, you can't, this is all opinion based. You can't ignore the fact that Lampard finished top 4 last year with no transfer window and a group of young players, right? So I think that was a feat in itself. Okay, it's been a short period of time with the signings that he's brought in, but what I can say is the signings that he has brought in so far, we can't say that any of them are a bust. So we can say that he's getting the signings correct. That is a job of the manager and, of course, the director of football. So I don't think that Lampard is bringing in players that have been a bust, which is part of his job. Now, in order for it to all gel together, you have a group of young players as well as a young manager. The game against, I think it was Everton, where you guys lost, was it in the 90th minute? The guys were pushing forward, and they hit you on a counterattack. It's a mistake made by a group of young players and a young manager. So it depends on where the club is trying to go. If you're trying to give the group of young players time to grow with this young manager, then this is the time for it. But I don't know necessarily if another manager is going to be able to get more than what Lamps is getting out of this group of players because of their age. You know what I'm saying? So maybe another manager might go in a different direction and bring in some more seasoned veterans and maybe mix it up that way. But if the club itself, I know Chelsea has a thing about not signing players over a certain age, this, that, and the third. So if that's the direction you're trying to go in, I think so far Lampard has shown that he can work well with this young players.
And then what do you think about Neto in terms of, is he the next guy like just at the league?
Neto he performed well in his short stint against Arsenal, and he performed again against Chelsea. So time will tell, but he looks to me to be a good player for Wolves. And Wolves typically have been they're in the position of the table they're in for a reason, and it's not just this season. They've been in and around the top 6 or 7 for the past 2 or 3 seasons. So they're signing good players. Yeah, and since they're promoted, and there's a great manager with a great philosophy, and Neto, and this manager is very particular. He doesn't keep a big squad because he wants to keep everybody happy and everybody playing. And Neto's a great addition, and he's been very, very, very good for them. So time will tell, but so far so good, And I saw in the group chat the other day, you said Neto is better than offensively than any player at Chelsea. I think that was out of detention, but I don't know. I mean, he's good, right? So we'll see.
So the reason I say that, obviously I'm kidding, but the reason I say that is because I've seen him play for a while now, and even like just Portugal and stuff like that. But one thing I'd like to add as a Chelsea fan, the disrespect that I'm hearing from these two gentlemen here, the biggest difference between a young team and a mature team and a 10-year team is consistency. So I think, to Ryan's point, it's hard to get a level of consistency from young players. So as Chelsea fans, we'd be crazy to think that they're just going to be consistent week in and week out. It's just not going to happen overnight. So I agree with some points with TK and M, but I also agree more with Ryan's assessment. So moving forward, Manchester City, they just can't seem to get it right. I think they're somewhere mid-table. They're somewhere mid-table right now. TK, I'm not sure if you watched the City West Brom game, but what are your thoughts on the match? And then it's another year and another kind of similar loss for City.
It was a mixed game. I mean, we all saw West Brom came to defend to get a point. So City had chances. West Brom had like one chance and took it and sat back the whole game. I don't know what to really make of City, because I think, what's his name, Pep, he's going through something tough right now, because as you remember, he lost his mother. So there's certain decisions Pep is making that is probably affecting the team. Like the West Brom game, he had probably two attacking players he could have brought on, but he kept two defensive mids. And if you're playing against a West Brom, you don't need two defensive mids, because you're going to attack. So because they're going to defend. So he had the opportunity to bring in Bernardo Silva, and he had the chance to bring on Mahrez. He did not do it for some reason. So I'm thinking all these decisions Pep is doing right now is going to probably make City end up like fourth this season. So I don't know. They're hot and cold right now. And I think they have a game in hand, so we never know what's going to happen with City.
Yeah, not for sure. Ryan, I think Jesus didn't start today. Jesus or Kuhn didn't start today, if I'm correct. They have a scoring problem. So to not have two strikers on, do you think Pep is in the right state of mind? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so it's funny. City's version of a scoring problem is not giving everybody five, like not giving West Brom five, right? Because that's what we all used to, right, guys? So, like, on average, City's giving teams that most of us are struggling to get 1-0 to 1, 5 or 6.
They gave us 6.
Right. But that's their style of football, though. So, like, if that's not happening, it's tough because they want to concede goals. Like, that's how they play football. You know what I'm saying? So they may concede 1, but they're going to give you 5. Against West Brom, they conceded 1 and they only scored 1. So yes, in context of how they like to play football, they definitely have a scoring problem. But I think that we know that Pep recently signed a new contract, so there's not a security issue there or an unhappiness issue in terms of that. I mean, that's what a manager wants, is to get his name over the line, continue going on with his project. So I think the project, as we know it, needs a little bit more of tinkering, definitely up front. And do you guys know who the Dortmund striker? Haaland. Do you guys know who his? Do you guys know who his agent is?
Minolo.
Roll up.
Yeah. So it's Mino, right? So if Pep is playing a game with no striker, maybe he's trying to tell the board, I need a striker, okay, and I need one in January. So we all know we all know Man City have a lot of money, a lot of resources, and they pretty much go with what Pep Guardiola wants. So that kid, his agent, and Pep Guardiola have a great relationship. So if that kid is to come to the Premier League, we know it's not going to be to Arsenal. We know it's not going to be to Manchester United because we know and Manchester United right now beefing with the public thing. So, and that kid Holland already told Manchester United no once. So don't be surprised if that kid ends up at Manchester United sooner than later. So
you mean City?
Manchester City. I apologize, Manchester City. So Manchester City right now is going through a transitional phase with Kun Aguero. He's been their main guy for a long time, and they are on the market for a striker. So, or they will be in the market for a striker. So, we are. It's not panic. They're going to finish in the top 4. We know it's going to be Liverpool and Manchester City. The rest of us are all battling for the other 2 spots.
Yep.
So it's not panic city, but they need a striker for sure. There is a scoring problem.
Hold on, M. With that said, M, so I want your take on the whole situation because I see you have something. You have something in you want to get out, but I also want to ask you. West Brom sacked their manager right after the game. I think it's like his 3rd sack in the EPL, but he was the one that got them promoted and built the club back up. So, do you think that was a panic sack, or do you think Big Sam is a good appointment? But I want to hear what your take is on Pep's buying players. By the way, Mino has said some really bad things about Pep. I don't think they're friends because he's Zlatan's manager's agent as well, and Zlatan hates Pep.
So I think the Mino reference is, I think Pross is just trying to like let people know that he knows things. I think that's why he kind of slipped that in there. But Big Sam is back.
Trivia.
West Brom, they need a change. West Brom to me is like Sheffield United. Like something needs to change. Like you can't back a manager that's in 10, 12, 13 games in, they're fighting a relegation battle, right? So I think that change that's just one of those, how do you call it now? It's kind of like the same thing that happened when Ole got hired. The same thing that happened when I can only reference it because I paid close attention to my team. The same thing that happened when Bruno Fernandes came in. Like it's one of those things where things start going flat and then you need like a jump start. So I think that hiring of Big Sam is definitely going to help West Brom, especially after this 1-1 draw with City. But Figo he touched on a really good point where they need some strikers. They have strikers. It's just that his name is Kun Aguero and that's it. Like there is nothing else going on. Jesus, yes, he's a good striker for Brazil, but I don't think that he is ready to fill the shoes of Kun Aguero. So that's something that we haven't really touched on. And another thing that I wanted to point out was that the Premier League is hard. Like, yes, they did tie to Burnley, but it's not. Even though it's I said Burnley to West Brom. They did tie to West Brom, but it's West Brom. Like those guys are coming to compete to get your 3 points. And the quality of players that West Brom has, it might not be as good as it might not be as good as a KDB, or it might not be as good as a Gundogan, but they do have some good quality players out there.
No, you can't, and I disagree with that. You can't. I don't think you can tie to West Brom at home.
Why not?
Because they have 3 points.
When Liverpool, who was the first team to beat Liverpool last season?
The yellow team, Norwich.
Yeah. Okay. Premier League is difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
they didn't beat us. Norwich didn't beat us.
Who gave you 3?
Crystal Palace.
3?
That's a Crystal Palace.
Who was the first team to beat Liverpool?
It was close, but they didn't beat them.
Yeah.
No, it was Watford.
Well,
yeah,
my point.
Yeah.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make is that even though we're saying that West Brom is in the bottom of the table, like they still have quality players. And another thing that we have, not me, but Pep has failed to, we haven't really talked about because they have been outscoring their opponents is the fact that they haven't really gotten a chance to replace Company. I think they have, what's his name? Ake, I think is the guy that's back there now. They also have Diaz, he scored an own goal. But the the commanding presence that company had, I think that's one thing that they're definitely missing. So that's something that we should probably highlight.
I saw a meme that said that Pep Guardiola has spent more on defense than all of Africa. So I love Pep. I love his style of play. What ends up happening is, in his style of play, you have to score more than one goal because you're always liable to give a goal away. So when they're not scoring 2 or 3 goals, it's tough. And then with some of his lineups, it just doesn't make sense. He'll put Cancelo on the left, and then he'll put Walker on the right, and then he'll have Mendy on the bench. It just doesn't. It seems like he overcomplicates a very simple thing sometimes. So they definitely have a goal issue. All right, moving forward. In terms of Arsenal and Southampton, Arsenal seem to be going through it. I'll start with Ryan, being that he's the one Arsenal fan we have here today. It seems like Arsenal's going through it. I think this is the third consecutive game where you guys have gotten a red card, in the Premier League at least. So it's, finally you got a goal in, but I've never seen Arsenal. I saw the first half and then highlights of the second. I've never seen Arsenal look so scared at home against a Southampton team ever in my life. So what I want to ask you, what your thoughts are on the game, and are there nerves? Are there nerves in the locker room?
There are definitely nerves. You heard the captain, Aubameyang, in his post-match presser. He let it slip that the team is nervous. He commented on that in his post-match presser. But even without that, you can see it. If you watch the games, him especially, right? He's our top man. As soon as he gets the ball around the 18, he's looking to pass it. He doesn't want to take anybody on. He's not shooting from outside the 18. The team, including our captain, looked very uncomfortable on the ball and in and around the goal. That's been their biggest issue. The red cards are stemming from frustration. All of us here have played football before. You guys know better than anybody. When things aren't going well as a footballer, you tend to lash out in different ways on and off the pitch. So things haven't been going well, particularly for Arsenal, and you see it. Guys like El Nene, who I don't even think I've ever even seen El Nene get a yellow card, we saw the other day, right after Granit Xhaka got a red card. El Nene lashes out on a guy in the box. And in the day of VAR, some of these things you just can't do anymore, right? So, and all the players know that. So the players have definitely been nervy. They haven't been scoring. So before this goal that Aubameyang scored against Southampton, the last goal in open play it was before the Manchester United game, well before the Manchester United game. We scored a PK against Manchester United. After that, Gabriel scored a header on a set play. And we haven't scored I think that was against Leeds, and we haven't scored a goal in open play for I don't even know how long in the Premier League. So anytime the players aren't scoring goals, it's going to be nervy. And as a Liverpool fan, I'm sure you know, what makes these other guys come in with so much confidence, right, is you have 2 to 3 guys that are scoring 20 goals per season. So it makes everybody else's job 10 times
a lot easier
and more fun. When guys are scoring goals, I'm having fun. Even though I'm not scoring goals, my job is a lot more fun when the team is scoring. So that's my take on it. The guys are nervous and we're not scoring goals. Until goals come back into the squad, Arsenal are going to continue to look the same way they did over the on Wednesday.
And just to make it official, are you Arteta in or Arteta out?
I'm Arteta in. I don't think another manager.
You said you're in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
I'm teasing. Go ahead. You're in. So this is the thing. I remember when Chelsea finished 13th, and we sacked Jose, I think, in November, because we're in and around that 13th place, and Roman doesn't play that. You know what I'm saying? once we get past January and if they're still in that same place, because a lot of the teams that get relegated, it's all about confidence, right? It's all about football has a lot of confidence plays a huge role in football. Is it no funny stuff? Is Arsenal? Is there a threat of a relegation possible for Arsenal?
Okay, so here's my response.
Okay,
guys, we're not supposed to be talking about teams like Burnley, Arsenal, Sheffield, West Brom. Southampton, those guys are doing good. Leicester, like, why are we not talking about teams that are more relevant?
We will. Just we have Arsenal fans here. We have Arsenal fans around the world that want to know.
I don't have time to talk about these guys.
They want to know your take, Em. They want to know what M.
Arsenal is shiny trash. That's what Arsenal is. Arsenal is one of those teams where they talk about Manchester United taunting the badge. We're in 6th place. Like, Arsenal is one of those historically great teams that are not good anymore, right? The difference between the Arsenal fans and Man U fans is that we accept our fate. Like, we know what's up. You know what I mean? Arsenal fans, when they win, it's like they win the Super Bowl. But then when they lose, it's like we expect this to happen. Like, Arteta out. Why is Xhaka on the field? Ceballos is trash. David Luiz is the worst player in the world. But once they win, oh yeah, Aubameyang, that's the greatest ever. Lacazette, clinical finisher. Arteta is a masterclass when it comes to tactics. Listen, when it comes to the end of the season, Arsenal, you guys are going to be in big trouble because you're not even going to be in the top 10. Let me just put that out there. Arsenal is not going to be in the top 10, but you guys are not going to be in relegation. And please, I don't want to talk about Arsenal anymore.
Okay, no problem. I think
so let me hold on. So right now, Arsenal and Manchester United are in the same Europa Cup competition, where it is likely that Manchester United drew the number 1 team in Spain. Okay, so you guys are going to go right out of Europa. So you guys are sitting right next to us in class. So you can't call us dunce. You can't call us dunce when you're sitting right next to me with the dunce cap on. You're in Europa League with us. We played you guys this season. We beat you in the season.
They did beat you.
And in this calendar year, 2020, COVID year, we have won a trophy. You have not. So your manager has yet to win a trophy. Our new manager has won a trophy. So despite the place on the table, let's not forget what's going on here in context of football.
Okay. Are you done?
Are you done, Figo?
We beat you guys.
Yes.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Manchester United loses to teams like RB Leipzig. They made it to the quarterfinals of Champions League last year. We lose to teams like PSG. Those guys were in the finals of Champions League last year.
Group of death.
You guys are losing to Southampton. You guys are giving up points to Leeds, and you guys are poo-pooing all over the place with Burnley, and you're giving out red cards like Oprah is giving out car keys. So you need to calm down. And also, we are in 6th place in the English Premier League. We are currently sitting in 6th. You guys are hanging out. I'm scrolling down on my TV, on my laptop right now, and it's hard for me to see you guys because my font size is big. So you need to go sit in the corner, think about what you've done, and leave Ole to his winning streak.
TK, hold on. I think I think one of our podcasters, Kevin KG, said it best. You know how a kid is playing with a toy, and at the end of the day is like he's building it, right? One of those little Lego, and it's gonna crash, but you're hoping for the best. You're just waiting for that thing to crash. That's a perfect depiction of Arsenal. I think sometimes they set themselves for heartbreaks. TK, I want to hear your thoughts on Arsenal, but also should we start considering Southampton as a top 6 contender for the season because they've been on quite a run?
So my thoughts on Arsenal. Arsenal used to be a big team, but even big teams have gone down. to the championship. Like, let's say Leeds United, they used to be a big team, so you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And then, of course, you have Arteta. I'm still not sure how he got the job because that is too big of a project for him. Because, like, you have Emery, you sack Emery. The best thing to do, I would have brought Josie in, but Arsenal fans are like, nah, don't bring Josie. But look what he's doing with Tottenham. So I think Arteta, since he's still inexperienced, he's not used to this type of, pressure. Like, what was he? He was an assistant manager, so he's not used to this type of pressure, like bringing a team out of relegation battle. And, losing teams like Burnley, getting red cards, the locker room is like dysfunctional. Aubameyang, the top scorer last year, can't score a goal to save his life. I mean, he scored 2 goals this season, but it's going to be tough for Arsenal. So I think we could consider them as being relegation candidates, sort of. And as for Southampton, I'll say the manager is the reason why they could stay in the top 6 because I forgot his name. Hasselhoff?
Yeah, so the Hasselhoff or something. It's very German. Yeah.
Yeah, German. Yeah.
It's like Klopp's twin. Like, he looks just like Klopp.
Yeah, so he has the ability to bring out the most from his squad because you see the squad he has right now. They should not be in the top 6 right now. So he's doing a good job in Southampton. So if he brought in a few more players, like a decent striker, I believe they could challenge for top 4 at least, or even another center back. They could be in the top 4 because the coach is doing a really good job at Southampton. So we'll see what's happened to Arsenal this season. It's pretty fun.
So in contrast, I know we talked about Arteta and sacking Arteta. Southampton took 9 to was it City last year? No, was it City?
Yeah. No. Tottenham.
No, that's
City.
And they didn't sack their manager. They kept him. And he was able to then build a very good team and get the best out of Adams and Ings. I honestly don't think they need a striker. I think maybe another winger and like maybe a midfielder, or a right back or a left back. But they trusted him and they kept him, and it's paid off. They're doing well, and they probably should have gotten all 3 points on the day. So moving away from the Premiership, unless M you got that you're moving. Moving on from the Premiership, the Champions League draw. The Manchester United and Arsenal fan, can you please click your big man talk this one?
I'm leaving now. All right, guys.
So we have quite a few matchups. I'll name them out, and then we'll ask you which one is going to be the favorite to watch, and who your favorite is to win in that one, right? So we have Leipzig, Liverpool. We have Barcelona, PSG. We have Sevilla, Dortmund. Porto, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea Football Club, Lazio, Bayern, Atalanta, Real Madrid, Mönchengladbach, and Man City. M, which matchup are you most looking forward to? And who do you have taking it all, man?
Okay, so second question gets answered first. Bayern is going to do it again. The only thing that's going to hinder Bayern is if Lewandowski gets injured or if Lewandowski gets sick. That's it. That's the only thing that can stop them from winning from probably not winning Champions League.
Hold on. We're in COVID times when you say he might get sick.
Yeah, those are the only 2 things that can stop him.
Yeah.
So the Barcelona PSG game, I think that's going to be interesting. Of course, Neymar still hasn't proven his worth since he's been at PSG. We've seen flashes in the pan, of course, when he played against a big team such as Manchester United. But at the same time, it's like the old versus new, because Neymar was supposed to be the one that replaces Messi when he was in Barcelona. Now we have Messi, the veteran, 34, I think, as a wiser non-defensive player. They're going to be clashing heads. So it's going to be very entertaining football. And as a person that's going to be supporting the Europa from this day forward. It's a little rough right now, so I just want to see entertainment. So I would have to say Paris, the PSG Barcelona.
Okay. Who do you have winning in that game?
I think PSG is gonna edge it. Barcelona has way too many problems going on right now. So I think that's pretty much. I think that's the direction that it's gonna head.
I think with that matchup, it's very very evenly balanced because both teams have no balance. So it's gonna be interesting. I agree. TK, what matchup are you looking forward to, and why? And also, who's your favorite to win Champions League?
All right, so I'm looking forward to watch the Chelsea and Atletico game because it's an attacking team versus a pragmatic team. So I'm looking to see how good if Lampard can get its tactics together to unlock the Atletico defense, because Atletico is a very strong team. So I'm looking forward to the Chelsea game, and I'll have to say Liverpool will take the Champions League, but we have too many injuries. If our players could stay fit, if our players, I have to back my team, man. If my players could stay, well, the rest of the players we got now, if they could stay fit for the rest of the season, I think we can make it to the finals. But if we meet Bayern, I feel like Bayern will take it all. They're just too strong.
I'm curious to see the Chelsea with the Chelsea Atletico game. I wonder what direction KG would bend, because KG is a Chelsea fan, but he also picks all the time Atletico
to win it all.
Yeah.
No, I think that's going to be a good match.
KG's actually been writing messages. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I see him on the messenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that annoying friend, you know what I'm saying, that never lets go. But and I think it was Antonio Conte who went there and had a masterclass performance and won at Atletico Madrid. And Diego Costa was hurt, and he was up in the stands. And it was a set play in like the 87th minute, and Michi scored and we won. When Michi scored the goal, Diego Costa was like this. That's when he went back to Atletico Madrid. He was like, he hates Chelsea.
Let me ask you guys a question. Okay, so just quickly, Liverpool, who has a German manager, they draw a German football team from the Bundesliga in Leipzig, right? So like there's storyline there. You have Neymar returning to the Camp Nou, right? There's storyline there. And then of course you have the Diego Costa, Chelsea vibe, like there's storyline there. Do you guys think that the Champions League draw is actually a draw, or do you guys think that they fixed the draw? What do you guys think? And then of course the last in the group stages you had Cristiano Ronaldo in the same group as Messi, right? So what do you guys think in terms of that? Do you think it's actually a draw? Do you think they're leaving TV money up to chance, or do you think they're fixing the draws?
Me personally, I think there's too much money on the line for it to be completely random. So is there a little bit of weird things going on? For sure. But I think some of it is just coincidental. That's just me.
Why can't it just be a? There are storylines everywhere here. Like Dortmund is trying to get Haaland to go to City. You just talked about the Pino Ariola thing. Like there's that.
Right, but based on where teams finish, you can't make a storyline out of everything. Well, I'm trying to tell you,
it's Real Madrid, Barcelona. Like there's so many possibilities for a storyline to happen because all of these teams are top quality teams.
Juventus and Barcelona were not in the same group by chance. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay,
no
so why would you want that storyline to whatever storyline you have in your head? Why would you want it to happen right out of the group stages,
so early
in the quarterfinal stages? Why would you?
Because the potential of it happening is not guaranteed. So if I can guarantee it happening twice, home and away,
You're
for
just
TV
Ryan,
money,
you can make the same excuse for why having it later by saying
right.
by saying
no,
there's more on the
go
line.
ahead.
You can't tell me the last time Barcelona and Juventus lost in the group of Champions League.
Right, but what I'm saying is later on down the line, there's no guarantee that both teams won't win their group, right? So you may not be able to have it at all if both teams won. See what I'm saying?
Let's be honest here. Qatar's having a World Cup. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not act like the football officials are the most holiest of holy. That's a joke. So that takes me over to you, Ryan. What matchup are you looking forward to? I think it's PSG Barcelona by the drama that you just drew for us, but and also who is going to win it?
The conspiracy.
So my
theory diagram.
Yeah, my pick has been Juventus. Juventus have been working on their project for a long time. They added CR7 to it, and I think that this is going to be their year. They win their league every year. Similar to people talk about PSG, Juventus aren't far off. They win their league every year in terms of, league play. So their focus has been Champions League, and I think that for me, on paper, Juventus can beat any team left in the tournament. Currently, they drew Porto. For me, that's going to be a walk in the park. That should be a walk in the park. And then the other big dogs, aside from Man City, there's no guarantee that they're going to even win their ties. Even Real Madrid with Atalanta. Real Madrid were lucky to even qualify. So there's no guarantee that they will even go to the next round. But I think that, and of course, Bayern and Lazio as well. So,
but the champions
for me, for me, Juventus on paper and based on the eye test can beat any team left in this tournament. And for me, with CR7.
What
I think. Go ahead, Em.
Okay, they do have Cristiano Ronaldo.
By the way, Juventus just tied a team that I've never heard of this weekend. I think.
You talking about Atalanta? That's in the Champions League drawings. Is that this team that you're talking about?
No, they didn't play Atalanta. They played somebody else. It was like Leauge.
So can I ask you guys a question? Anybody can answer. So Juventus wins the league and sacks Maurizio Sarri, right? So it tells you their goal is to win Champions League. No other club is that ambitious. What club do you guys win the league?
So you're going against what you just
Barcelona.
Okay. Hold on, Ryan. This is what you said when you were responding to the question. You said that you're going to take Juventus. You're going to take Juventus all day, baby, because they won the league last year and they won the Italian league. Now, all of a sudden, it's just the Italian league. Let me tell you something. Those guys won the Italian league before COVID, went on vacation, and then they lost probably all their games, and then they ended up winning by like 1 point. Like they were so far ahead of everybody else that they could slack off at the end of the season and win by 1 point. That's in the Italian league.
Of course.
That's in the Italian league, not in Champions League. So what did they do? They went and they got Cristiano Ronaldo, who he's like 35 years old, eats lots of vegetables, and that's why he's Cristiano Ronaldo that he is now. You have Weston McKennie, I guess because he's American, you're jumping on that side. Cool. But you also have there's Cuadrado, you have Morata, who Chelsea.
Cuadrado's playing out of his mind right now.
Right.
Cuadrado's playing out of his mind right now.
He's not playing out of his mind. He's not playing out of his mind to the point where he's a Bayern Munich, or he's not playing out of his mind to the point where he's going to beat even a Chelsea or even a Liverpool, a Man City. You're telling me that there's a Juventus out there right now, currently, that tied with.
And let's not forget
that team that they tied with Nahome is Atalanta. You're telling me that team is going to end up beating the likes of Barcelona.
No, you don't have to say that.
How dare you? How dare you?
Liverpool.
How dare you poo-poo on Wes McKennie when one of Bayern's best players was a Canadian international last year? How dare you poo-poo on Wes McKennie?
Davies is a baller. Davies is a baller.
Alfonso Davies just made
right, he is. But my point is this. So why can a Canadian guy be a baller on Bayern, but an American guy can't be a baller baller on a Juventus team.
I just gave him credit. I don't understand. I'm not sure what you're complaining about.
No,
I just gave him credit. No, I call his name as a list of notable players. Cristiano Ronaldo. Go ahead now.
Because we rate Alphonso Davies, we should rate McKennie because they've been at a high level for the same amount of time. But
you shouldn't act like it's impossible because an American is on a team balling. And that's what he just did. Like a Canadian just wants to.
Okay, what's your take on that?
What I'm telling you is that Cristiano. I called 3 notable players. I said Cristiano Ronaldo, Weston McKennie, and Cuadrado. I called those 3 players' names because they're playing really well. And for some reason, you find offense to me giving you some props. So for that, I apologize.
I don't like the way you said it on
Weston McKennie.
I don't like the basics of your
voice. Hold on, TK. What are your thoughts on this, man? What are your thoughts on this, my brother?
In regards to Juventus, I mean, let's not forget it's Pirlo's first job as a coach. So I don't think he has the experience to take Juventus that far in the Champions League. Maybe the league, of course, but Champions League, I don't think Pirlo can take Juventus that far.
But you really think Juventus is a manager?
When is it done? Hold on, Nahome. When is it done? Thank you, KG. When Zidane was winning Champions League, what was his first job as a manager?
Well,
it's a different team. You can't say that Real Madrid team with Sergio Ramos.
Okay, Chelsea fan. Okay, Chelsea fan. Okay, Chelsea fan. Your only Champions League. Who won it for you as a manager?
Roberto Di Matteo. But again.
Okay, I put myself on mute.
You have to listen, Ryan. You're talking, but you're not listening. Thank you. Whoever muted him, thank you. Brian, that team has a prime Lampard, prime Frank Drogba, a prime Ivanovic, a prime Peter Cech. I don't think having Arthur, a French guy that I don't even know his name, the guy said he wouldn't play for the French team because he got selected late. I don't think that guy is gonna be the guy. KG, if you want to hop on, man. You just chat and sit on the dance on the chat. I don't think they have a team that if they face Bayern Munich in 2 legs or 1 leg that could beat them. I'm not saying they're not gonna go far, but to say this pridely and just like humbly say that Juventus by far, I think is a bit crazy. So when you have a Bayern Munich team that just won it last year, that gained a player, lost Thiago, but then replaced him with Sané. Like, it's a different level to me. And they have a manager that has shown that he can do it. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think anybody here is saying that it's crazy to say Juventus is going to win it. Yeah, I'm just saying I think Bayern have to be the favorites here. But you're entitled to your opinion, and I won't blame you.
You're entitled to Nahome's opinion, right?
That's it. You're entitled to your opinion, is what I said.
All right.
Moving on.
Go ahead. For the Champions League final, I want the same panel. I want the same panel here for the Champions League final.
Okay, so moving on real quick. We're reaching that hour mark. Okay. So the FIFA Player of the Year it was between Messi, Leauge, and Ronaldo. Ronaldo looked tight because he didn't win. TK, real quick, do you think Leauge deserved it?
He deserved it. He should have won Ballon d'Or before COVID anyway, so he deserves it.
I agree. Ryan, what's your take on that?
I think he deserved it. There has been another instance where Bayern won a treble or a quadruple, whatever it was, and they still gave it to Messi or Ronaldo, and neither one of those guys that particular year won the Champions League. So it's about time that they start moving on from those 2 guys, especially when they're not winning the biggest trophy in the world. So
I disagree. I think it goes to the best player in the world, not the team, not the guy that won the most or won the Champions League.
In the NBA,
I think Messi had 86 goals that season.
If the best player in the world won in the NBA every year, LeBron James would win every year. But the reality of it is, the best player doesn't.
No, they don't, because James Harden has won MVP and he wasn't on the best. But I digress. What do you think?
For me,
deserved it?
well, I think based on my answer on who's going to win the Champions League and how Bayern Munich.
No problem. Another one I really want to talk about is Coach of the Year. Okay, they gave it to Klopp. Okay, and with managers a little different from players. TK, I'll save you for last. Ryan, the Bayern Munich manager has won 5 trophies in this calendar year. Do you think he got robbed, or do you think Klopp deserved it?
I think that based on how long it's been since Liverpool won the league, I think you can make an argument for Klopp. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's a classic Liverpool fan, by the way. Just FYI, TK. TK, in all honesty, because it was trending on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff about the Bayern Munich manager not getting it. Do you think it was a fair evaluation on the season?
Well, I'll say it wasn't fair. I would honestly say the Bayern coach should have got it, but hey, Klopp got it, so I'm not going to argue. So,
Indeed. And what is your take? Thank you for your honesty, TK, instead of the classic Liverpool fan up there with the Arsenal kit on.
That's insane. That's insane, TK. 30 years? How long was it since you guys won?
That's not the problem.
Yeah, it's not about the years. It's about what the manager, I guess, wants.
It's context. It's context. 30 years.
But
it's context.
You could say he was.
But you just said,
Ryan.
You just said whoever wins the most is the one that should get it.
Guys, let me tell you something. Based on the amount of injuries that Klopp has been dealing with. Based on the amount of injuries that Klopp has to manipulate through, and the fact that Bayern Munich has such quality players with the Canadian sensation, not to take anything away from Mr. McKinney, the fact that they're actually they have so much talent and they have so much quality of play from Neuer all the way up to Lewandowski, and in between you have the likes of Muller, you have Coman, you have Gnabry. Like, goals can come from anywhere. I believe that they do have a squad that you can't. It's kind of like you guys were saying with Zidane when he came in his first year. The quality of players that he had, I could coach him and probably win something. You know what I mean? So I think it was a little bit. It was a little bit unfair to give it to the Bayern Munich manager. I think that Klopp had worked. He had worked his way up to getting this.
I know the guy got sacked. The Bayern manager got sacked, and then he got hired. So it wasn't going great. So you can have. I've seen you for PPA.
I just wanted to be devil's advocate.
I digress. Hey guys, fantastic episode. We're just at the hour threshold. Fantastic episode, TK. Thank you so much for joining us. It's his first time doing a podcast, and I think he did an excellent job for the first time doing a podcast. We look forward to having you on in future dates. Hopefully, Liverpool lose the rest of their games. But that is what it is.
Man.
Chelsea too.
You can't lose one more. Lampard out if we lose one more.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the Arsenal meltdowns. That's all.
That's it. Everybody, and then AFTV. You got to tune in
AFTV.
So thank you so much for supporting us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's a bunch of black guys talking about football, man.
Follow us on IG, the.soccer.family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
and then on Facebook, the Soccer Family as well. So just support us as much as possible. If you have anything you want us to talk about, just put it in the comment section. Other than that, deuces from us.
All right. It's easy.